Hello, good evening everybody. How are we? I'm just going to share to my groups if I can. For some reason it's not letting me today. I don't understand why. There you go. Hang on, just give me a second. Share. To that. Hi everybody. I will be with you in 1 minute. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Good evening everybody. Hi Lynn, nice to see you. I'll give you a wave. Apparently I waved at you then. I didn't know that I could do that. Lovely to see I've got a couple of people online already. Whilst everybody's logging on, I want to share a bit of excitement. I'm so excited. I have so those of you that don't know who I am, my name's Amanda Jane Duggan. I am a bariatric success coach, and I'm also the owner of New Leaf Weight Loss Surgery, helping people from predominantly the UK and Ireland to helping them to get access to the best top quality surgeons in the Czech Republic and supporting them on their journey. And I have been doing this now for nearly 6.5 years. So I also am a successful gastric sleeve patient myself, having lost 9 stone in 6 years ago, and I've kept nearly all of it off. So I would say success story. So yeah, anyhow, back to my story that I was telling you. So what happened this last couple of weeks, I've been working towards this for 4 years. So I've been doing one-to-one coaching for a very long time, and I knew that I really wanted to be able to work with more people because I just don't have enough time. And, so I've put together an online course that people can do online, along with some one-to-one coaching with me and our dietitian. So it's really, I've called it the Bariatric Success Solution, which is exactly what it is. It has everything in it that can help a weight loss surgery person get the outstanding and outrageous success that they deserve, not just in their weight loss journey, but in their life. It touches on many, many things: emotional eating, craving control, self-sabotage, relationships, setting boundaries, people pleasing, binge eating, secret eating, things in this like big course that you can actually do online in your own home, and then supplemented with weekly group coaching sessions and one-to-one sessions with me as well, and some one-to-one sessions with our dietitian. And I've been really scared, about launching this, because thinking, what happens if I put all this work and all this effort in and nobody wants it? And like in 3 weeks, 7 people have signed up to it, and I've hardly advertised it. In fact, I haven't even advertised it yet. So I am buzzing. I'm absolutely buzzing, because we've had our group sessions, and it's been so much fun, and everybody is like really getting loads from it, and then my crisp lady, if anybody you saw episode 14 of where I was helping this lady that had eaten crisp for 30 years every day, it's 9 weeks. I spoke to her yesterday, and it's 9 weeks since I did my session with her, and she's not had packet of crisps since. I've not had any desire to have any crisps. So it's just like, it's really coming together for me. I really feel like I'm like stepping into my zone of genius, and that I'm really helping the right people, and buzzing. I'm absolutely buzzing. It's great. I'm so happy. Anyhow, that's me, just giving you a bit of a story whilst I'm getting people logging on. Thanks, Lynn. You're always my biggest fan. So lovely to see people here. Jono, hi Jono, Sharon, Anne-Marie. Have we got Catherine? That's lovely. Yeah, lovely to see you. So tonight, I thought I'd talk about a topic called, is food your frenemy? So it's like, is it your friend and your enemy? Because that's certainly what it was for me, without a doubt. For 1 minute it was my friend, next minute it was my enemy. And I think a lot of you can understand that. But it's like, what do we do about it, and how did it get like that? So, I used to have a boss. I worked for a big computer company in sales. And I had this boss who, she befriended me. She became my friend. And because she'd befriended me, I didn't want to let her down even more than I normally would an ordinary boss. And I'm not very good at letting people down anyhow, so, you know, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. But I really didn't want to let her down. But I thought she was a real friend. But actually, the only reason she had pretended to be my friend or befriended me was that she wanted me harder. I was in sales and she got commission on everything that I sold. And also, she was like going off riding her horses whilst I was going out doing all the sales. The more I sold, the less she had to do. But she was very, like, 1 minute she'd be my friend and the next minute she'd snap, she'd turn on me. And what was okay one week wasn't okay the next. And I was just thinking about this, and, you know, so I never knew where I stood with her, never ever knew where I stood. You know, I was always, you know, if the phone rang and it was her, my heart was pounding, I'd get anxious, and I was like really scared. And so I would hide things from her. I wouldn't tell her things just in case she would judge me that I was doing it wrong. And I just never knew where I stood, and it was just awful. And as time went on, trying to please her even more and having the result that I wasn't pleasing her at all, and it was just making it worse and worse. So the harder I tried, the worse it got. And I was thinking about this the other day, and I thought, my God, that's just like my relationship with food. So, guys, if you understand what I'm saying, just put something in the comments, because there's a couple of things that happen. Number two, it makes me realise I'm not on my own and that you guys understand and you get me, which is great. And the other thing that happens is the more comments we get, the more likelihood there is of Facebook to share it to other people. So we're going to be able to help more people on these calls. And hopefully if more people come, we can get more feedback. So, you know, it's got a double-edged sword, if you like. So to start with, if you can pop in a hashtag live if you're live, hashtag if you're on replay, and a hashtag newbie if you're new, so I can say hello to you, that would be really great. But this friend that I was talking about, frenemy, so she, you know, she had befriended me with a real thing in her mind, but it was like the harder I tried, the harder it was. And it worked at first, and then it stopped working. And I thought that was just like my relationship with food, you know, because I was thinking about how it starts, really. I was thinking that, you know, in well, certainly the UK, or I should say the Western world, you know, we when we're a child, you know, we're sort of taught that food is love. And then another minute we're taught that food is punishment. Because I remember when I was a child, you'd sit at the dining table and you'd have to sit there, and I'd have my dad on this side of me. He would always be sat there, and my place was here as my stepdad. And it was like, sit up straight, elbows off the table, you know, and if I didn't, he'd kick me under the table. So I used to hate. See, look, I'm doing it now. I'm sitting up straight. It's like psychosomatic. Sit up straight, you get a kick under the table. Yeah, so it's like I used to hate dining times. And it was like you had to eat everything that was on your plate. And if you didn't, you would either be chastised or you were told you couldn't have dessert, which was ridiculous. So you've got to eat everything to make sure that you can eat something else that might make you fat. But the other thing was as well is that you were we were punished for it. So it's like, if you don't eat it now, you'll have it for your breakfast. So 1 minute I'm being given a great big piece of cake, or let's share the chocolates around because we all love each other, sat in front of the TV. So food is love, and the bits that are love are the bits that taste really nice, and they're like chocolates and cakes and crisps and things. And also I'm given a reward for eating the other bits that don't taste as good, that are more nutritionally good for me at the end of the meal, if I eat all that stuff. So all of that stuff that's nutritionally good for me, that doesn't taste quite as good as the other stuff, is my, if you like, punishment. I've got to do that first, and then I can get my reward. And if I don't eat all this nutritionally good stuff that's there in front of me, then I will be punished by being told off, made to eat it for breakfast, told that there were starving children in Africa and didn't I know better. And it was like, really? It was like setting up for this, like, sweet treats and things are your friend, and nutritional things that are nutritionally good for you and that will feed your body properly are the enemy, because we use those as a punishment, and we use the sweet treats and that sort of thing as love, because we do that at cakes, at birthdays and Christmas, and we get all the chocolates out at Christmas. And so it's not surprising that we have this love-hate relationship with food, because when we're brought up from such a young age with it, you know, and there's no judgment there. I'm not saying that my parents or anybody else's parents did the wrong thing. They were doing what they were taught. But if you can watch it from an outsider and see how we as a society set up those relationship rules with food, it's really interesting, and it tells us an awful lot about our relationship with food and how it is actually designed in us to be our frenemy, our friend 1 minute and our enemy the next. The thing is that food is really, when all said and done, food is supposed to be a fuel for our body. It gives us enough energy to make us be able to live and to be able to move and to be able to do everything that we need to do. Like, if you don't put petrol in a car, it won't run. If you don't put food in your body, it won't run. We all know that. However, you know, without it, you can't function, and you're going to die. So you've got to eat. But treats or food, then it's a punishment. But if there is sweet treats or food, it's a reward. I found that amazing. So when I was given a reward, you know, if you're given a reward, you feel really good. So we've made mum happy, we're a good girl, so we're given a reward of sweet treats. So that makes us feel really good. Sweet treat made us feel good, made mum happy, etc. So we learn that to feel good, what we need to do is to eat sweet treats, or to eat things that usually have got lots of fat, sugar. It could be crisps, it could be cheese, it could be, you know, but they're usually highly calorific, and often a mixture of sugar and high carbs. You know, there's usually very little nutritional value in those treats. So I learned that, but then it goes even worse. So at that stage, food is our friend, you know. If I don't feel so good, I'm going to eat something and I'm going to feel a bit better. So that's where your food is your friend. It's still your friend. But we start then to use food more often. So if we're feeling a bit uncomfortable or in any pain or disease or just bored, lonely, sad, we've learned that subconscious connection from such a young age that food equals love, and love makes you feel better. So then what we do is we go straight to food, and we cut out the middleman. So we don't go for the love, we just go straight for the food. And yet again, then still food, because, you know, if you like, it's helping us with those situations, it's helping us with our emotions, it's making us feel better. So it continues to be our friend. Hi Zainab, hi Alish. So that's, you know, at that stage, food is still our friend. But then we're using it then to change our feelings. And then what tends to happen is we start to use it all the time. So it doesn't give us a high anymore. It doesn't make us feel good anymore. It just gets us back to a normal level, because the consequences of us eating the food are starting to show. So we are putting weight on. We're feeling more lethargic because of the types of food that we're eating. We've got as much energy. We may be starting to have problems with diabetes or pre-diabetes, high blood pressure, etc., etc. So, but more than that, it's actually eroding starting to erode our self-worth. So we start to use it to try and get back to normal. And then this switch happens. One day almost it stops working. And those consequences start happening. And that's when it's like, right, okay, I've got to stop doing this. And it's a bit like stopping smoking, not realising you're addicted to the cigarette until you try to stop. And then when you try to stop, it's like, shit, I can't. I don't know how to. And the reason is a lot of the time is not just because a lot of the food has got sugar in it, which is an addictive substance. In fact, it's supposed to be more addictive than cocaine. But it's the fact that you've been using it to numb or dull emotions for so long that we've then got to learn how to sit with those emotions. And those emotions are there for a reason. They're telling us something, but we're just not used to listening. We've been pushing all those feelings down with food, and using food as a substitute or as a solution for those feelings for so long that we then like go, God, I've got to feel this. So, you know, for example, you start going on a diet and you go on a diet and you go, yeah, okay, that's great. Okay, you know, that's fine. I'm going to stay away from the good tasting food, the rewards, and I'm going to eat the healthy food, the less desirable food, the punishment. So what I'm doing is I'm going to say I'm going to punish myself all the time and I'm not going to reward myself. And that's fine. That's going to sort me out. And this just instills more feelings of unhappiness and discomfort, because basically what we're saying to ourselves is I'm actually punishing myself most of the time now, because that's what I need to do to stop the consequences of this. I've taken away my crutch. I've taken away the thing that makes me happy. And I am left with this huge void, all these emotions, and I've got no idea what to do with them. So it's not surprising that 95% of people that go on a diet and exercise regime put all the weight back on within the first year. And that is an absolute statistical fact. A majority of them put more back on as well. That's not surprising because of this love-hate relationship with food. Because then you're feeling really rubbish. What do? You go and you get the thing that you know in the past has always made you feel good. And it does for that tiny period of time. But the problem is that the cycle starts all over again. Then you feel shame, you feel guilty. Until when the periods where the food feels good are so small that you have to do it more and more often to get the same effect, and more time. And more times. So that's when we start to graze, we start to habitually eat. And I'll hear people saying, I haven't got a problem with emotional eating, I just like food. I just really, really love food. I could eat food all day. And it's got to the stage where, yes, there isn't a problem with emotional eating because it's gone far past that. It's now got to the stage where you just plug in the gaps. You know, so it's getting worse and worse. So that friend had turned into an enemy. Over and over again in a circle. It's just like a toxic friendship, just like that friendship I talked about at the beginning. You know, it really is such a toxic relationship. It's a friendship. And you're in a constant battle with this. So I've got 3 tips of how you can try to start to heal that relationship with food. Because if you had a toxic relationship with anybody else, you know, it's like anything or anybody that triggers self-loathing in you should not be in your life. Certainly not on a regular basis. Self-loathing is not acceptable, you know? We're never going to get anything out of self-loathing. We're never, ever going to grow. We're never, ever going to be happy. We're destined for a happy life, and it's never going to help us do that. So if it was a person like that friend, I actually left that company. So that friend, that toxic relationship wasn't with me anymore. However, you can't do that with food. So with any toxic relationship, you've got 2 choices. You have to either walk away, or you have to accept that person or that thing for what they are. Try to heal it. And you can never heal anything by fighting it. War makes war. Fire and fire makes more fire. You never put out fire with more fire. Well, actually, there is evidence that perhaps you might do that. But what I'm saying is, you know, if I know if my husband and I are arguing and I shout back, it makes it worse. If I calm down and I go quiet and I say, come on, darling, let's think about this, but it always makes it better. So, you know, we've got to try and heal the relationship. We can't walk away from it, and there's no point in fighting it. So my 3 tips are, the first thing is, number 1, stop fighting food and start listening to your body and your soul. We've spent so much time trying to react to our taste buds and our subconscious association with love and food that we have forgotten how to actually listen to the signs that our body's telling us, and also what nurtures our soul. What do I mean by that? So what I mean is, if you know after you've eaten something that you're going to feel guilty, that's never going to nurture your soul. That's that enemy bit of that frenemy That is the bit that's going to, you know, make you feel rubbish. It's going to take away your self-esteem. Okay, so it's like trying to listen to your body. Are you hungry? Are you really hungry? Because if you're not hungry, why are you eating? Because food is a fuel. Most of the time we should be eating if we're not hungry. Or are you hungry for something else? You need some love. So what's another acceptable way of doing that? Go and ask for a hug. Go and pet your dog. Go and snuggle up. I do it all the time, snuggle up with my animals on the sofa. Ring a really good friend. You know, if you're lonely, go and find somebody to talk to in real time. If you're bored, do something. You know, food isn't going to stop the boredom. It will just give you something to do for 30 seconds, and then soon, straight after, you're going to feel awful about yourself. So, you know, looking after your body, looking at what your body is trying to tell you is so important. And we've lost connection with that over the years. I was talking to a lady the other day. She's what you call she's a, oh God, what they call it? Diviner. You know, use those divining rods to find water. I've forgotten the name of it. Anybody know? Pop it up on the screen. She was saying that, you know, years ago, like 200 years ago, we all would be able to walk around and be able to detect where water was under the ground just by our intuitive knowledge, that we have got that inbuilt into us. But because we live in a modern age where water's so readily available, we just turn on taps, we've lost it. We don't have that anymore. I found that incredible. I just thought, oh my God, you know, getting in touch with our bodies, you know, it tells us so much. And she was talking about things like the moon and how the moon and the tides and everything have an effect on how we are feeling and what we can do and when's the best time to do things in the month, and all of that stuff, that intuitiveness with nature and our body. We have completely blanked it out through modern society. So, you know, it's like trying to learn from your body what it needs. And, you know, when we say things like, I'm craving, it's usually because your body's after something, it's craving something. Now, it's not necessarily usually craving chocolate, but it might be craving iron. Are you thirsty? Because 9 times out of 10 when we think we're hungry, we're thirsty. So it's, you know, all those types of things really help. Number 2, and this is a biggie, become emotional master. So you need to learn how to feel your emotions. We have stopped feeling emotions. I do think we're on the cusp, actually, of all of this self-development stuff, that we're going to be going into quite a spiritual age where people do feel emotions again. But we have got used to, in this, using things like alcohol, food, nicotine, drugs, of all sorts of things to stop feeling things. Our emotions are sent to us for a reason. They are there to tell us something isn't wrong. It's like you're inside GPS. It's like going, you're taking the wrong turn here. That's why I feel a bit anxious. That's why I feel a bit sad. That's why, you know, and we try to, you know, push things down. I don't know how many people recently I've spoken to whose loved ones are ill or they've died. And they're like saying, I'm sorry, I'm getting really sad. I'm getting you know, I'm crying. And I'm like, well, but that's what you're doing. You know, you've lost somebody so desperately dear to you. It's absolutely appropriate that you feel sad. And it would be inappropriate and quite disrespectful, perhaps, to the relationship you had with that person that you loved for so long not to be. But yet, for some reason, we feel that we're not supposed to feel emotions. And they are there for us. And you know what? When we don't feel them, we have to push them down. And then we push them down with food. But eventually they come out. And they will come out in some way. They will come out in anxiety, depression, stress, you know, rashes, allergies. They think that a lot of celiac disease is down to stress and people not feeling their emotions. They're even connecting things like, what's it called, fibromyalgia with that, with people being in stress and not showing their emotions. And so, you know, the most important thing, and I've got, you know, part of my course, big part of my course is on emotional mastery. Learning how to feel your emotions. and never, because pushing them down never ever works. They will always come back in another form, and you just make it difficult for yourself, and definitely infinitely more difficult when you're trying to release your weight, because a lot of us have just using food to handle those emotions. So becoming emotional master is so important. Number 3, okay, I have this thing, I don't know, I think I should patent this because it is my invention. I invented it myself. Or should I say, so thought process. So I wouldn't be able to patent it. I think it'd have to be trademarked. Anyhow, excuse me while I have a slurp. Feel free, guys. So I asked myself 3 questions before I'm about to eat something that I'm not so sure is the right choice. So I wouldn't ask myself this question if I was eating a prawn salad or something, but the first question I always ask, and I do always ask myself this when I'm about to eat something, is it going to taste nice? Because we can eat such a small amount. I'm not wasting what I can eat on something that tastes rubbish. I'm going to eat really lovely, flavoured food. Now, if I'd have said that to myself previously, or somebody had said that to me before I had my weight loss surgery, I thought I can eat what I want. I can eat anything. I can eat as long as it flavours, it tastes nice. I'm just going to go and eat boxes of roses or flakes or cake but it's different for me now, because I know, because I'm in tune with my body and my soul as well, that a treat for me no longer is it something that just treats my taste buds, because I've got back in tune with my body and I know how things feel. And I do get it wrong sometimes because I am terrible at wanting. It's a habit that I used to have coffee and cake together. And it always makes me, when I say dumping, it's not a full-blown dump, but it just makes me feel really hypoglycemic. It sends my blood sugar high, right down low, and I feel hot, I feel sweaty, a mild dumping. And I still don't always, still test it every now and again. But what I try to do is these 3 questions. Is it a treat for my taste buds? If it's going to taste nice, that's a yes. Is it a treat for my body? Because that's where most of my treats are now. When I think of the word treat, I don't think of something that's going to treat my taste buds. I think of something that's going to treat my body. And if it's not treating my body, it's not really a treat, is it? Because it's not going to make me feel better. And if it's not treating my soul or my spirit or my well-being, then it's definitely not a treat. So that's the third one. Is it going to treat or make my spirit or my soul feel good? Now, what do I mean by that? So I'll give you 2 examples. The first one is, okay, I'm in the supermarket, I'm walking down the supermarket, let's say a petrol station. Walking to the petrol station, I've just put some petrol in my car. I get what I call an environmental trigger. I've walked in and rafts of sweets. You've all been there, you know what it's like. And you can anything that's not got carbs in, but you walk into there and there's all these like chocolate bars and everything, and I see, well, my favourites are Flake. I've told you all about the connection with my grandmother and my Flake, but I see that on the side and I think, oh, I've got to have one. I've had an environmental trigger. I'm not hungry, I've just seen it and I want it. Bang, it's there, it's in my head. So I go, right, okay, stop, freeze. Is it going to be a treat for my taste buds? You bet it is. Absolutely, I know I'm going to love it. Is it going to be a treat for my body? Well, no, because all that is fat, cocoa, milk, yeah. And no, it's not. It's absolutely nutritionally void and completely full of calories. So no, it's not going to be a treat for my body. Is it going to be a treat for my soul if I eat it now? No. Because I'm going to go in the car, I'm going to eat it in secret, I'm going to wolf it down, I'm going to hide the packet, and then I'm going to feel really guilty. And it's never going to make me feel good. So on every level, that is not going to make me feel good. The only thing that will make me feel good is that 30 seconds while I eat it. The rest of the time, it's doing nothing at all to enhance my life. However, it's my niece's birthday party, and Mummy's made a great big Trolls cake. And she's got it there and she's so excited and everybody's there, all the family's there and the birthday cake's there and my niece is there. Auntie Mandy, you're going to have some birthday cake. Okay. Taste bud, yeah? I like cake. it's a treat for my taste buds. Is it going to be a treat for my body? No, it's not, because it's nutritionally void, just like the chocolate was. Is it going to be a treat for my eat it then? Now the answer this time is absolutely yes, because if I don't eat it, not only am I going to feel bad because I'll feel completely deprived, I feel like I've missed out on my niece's birthday, I'm going to feel I've let her down because she really wants me to join in. So, well, like a leper, you know, like, oh, well, because I've got a weight problem and, you know, I can't have those things that anybody else can have. I can have anything I want it. And if I think about those 3 rules, so if I feel like I'm being deprived, I feel like I'm missing out, that's not going to help me feel good afterwards. I'm going to feel worse if I don't eat it than if I did eat it. But what I do if I do eat it, I always try and have a small piece and I enjoy every mouthful. I savour it. I don't eat in secret. I just savour it. I enjoy it. I never feel guilty or punish myself for it because I've made it within those choices. I know that 2 of the questions out of 3 are yes. And if 2 of the questions out of those 3 are yes, I eat it, and I eat it with just happily. And so it's like, if you like, should I call it 2 out of 3 ain't bad? That's really good. I've just really decided what I'm going to call it. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. There you go. So, you know, sorry for those of you that have just logged on, because I'm just about to finish, but you can watch it on replay. It'll be up here on my feed, and also you can get all of the playbacks of all of these. I think we're episode 18 now. My God, I can't believe it's been going that long. On my website, there is I'll put it in the link below, but there is a link to on my website. There's at the bottom there's a link that says Bariatric Mindset TV and New Leaf University, and in there every single week we upload the replays so you can watch them. You can start number 1 if you wanted. You could binge watch them just like I am doing The Crown now before the new one starts. So thank you so much for joining me. I do think people there, I've not had any comments, and I've had the odd live, that's it. So I do hope that you find these useful, guys. It would be lovely if you would just sort of like comment occasionally, just to let me know whether you agree or you believe what I'm saying, you have any connection with what I'm saying. But you know, friend is your friend or enemy. So the thing is, you've got to heal that relationship. You can't walk away from it, so you've got to heal it. And this love-hate relationship is destroying your spirit and your body, so you need to stop fighting and start loving. That's what I've written down here in my notes. Stop fighting and start loving the body you're in, the spirit that you've got, the person that you are, and then treating a treat is a treat for your body and soul and not just for your taste buds. And I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Have a lovely evening, and I'll see you next week, next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Yeah, okay, bye.